Hi, my name is Carlos Perales. I work here at NSHS High School and did all the good stuff here, and now I'm here.
I'm Melissa Valencia. I'm a freshman and I play softball for the school. I think here students have like the mentality that they're not gonna go anywhere. Like everyone thinks they're gonna go to Hartnell, or that's what people think, but people are really trying. Students are trying to change it and they want to actually succeed. And I feel like this generation's actually trying to become something different.
But around this community, I'm seeing that mostly poverty or low income, I should say, is a major factor on students and stuff.
Parental problems, like my parents getting in arguments, or yeah, like if they have morning arguments and then you come to school with like you're like sad, it affects you for the entire day. Like when you see people. Well, there's like a lot of homeless people in Salinas too. So when you see that around the community, you want to be successful at school so you can change stuff like that and help take those people off the streets and make a change, make a difference in the community.
But as far as student-wise, because when a teacher or staff kind of just sees a student, we don't really know if they're poor, rich, or anything of that nature. So, but as individuality, I think when a person or a student actually sees themselves as more than just something, like they could go to college, they could go to have a job and go to school at the same time and kind of be able to manage and function. And I think their self-esteem in their respect for themselves is what kind of gives off, and to see stuff like that.
The most common issue is probably like, well, there's like a lot of friendship problems because they're still like freshmen, and probably like getting our work done and getting on top of things, procrastinating and not getting your work done. Right now I live like in an apartment, so I want to use my education to like take it to my advantage and get a free education and be successful so I can get my family somewhere better than Salinas. And my goal is to like buy my parents a house when I'm older. That hasn't happened to me before, but if it were to happen to me, I think it would hit me pretty hard, because I feel like North High is sort of like, in a way, it's like your family. It's like your second family, because you come here, you spend so much time here, and then if you hear something that's happened, then I think it would affect a lot of people, like, big. I think we should all just I think we all need to just mind our own business and let each other just live our own lives. Like, don't get involved in other people's lives, and just be there for one another. If someone needs like a helping hand, just offer it and be there for people, and just let people know that you're there for them, and everyone should just be nice to everybody.
I think one makes it work for themselves, you know what I mean? Are you gonna have ups and downs and you're gonna have stereotypical stuff, in life? Yes, you do. But I think if you have the value and the self-respect, and you have your self-esteem, I think you can make anything happen and stuff like that.
I think it's sad because they have an opportunity to not be that, but I mean, at the same time, you don't know how their household is. You don't know like how their parents impacted them. You don't know if their parents forced them to go drop out of school and work. You don't know if they need the extra money, but they could use this to their advantage and do something bigger and get more money than the fields. They could make better changes, but everyone lives their own lives and everyone has their own opinions on why they do things, so you never know why they did it.
My name is Danny Mendez. Was born in San Jose, raised here in Salinas. I'm the oldest out of all my siblings. Our careers are really big impacted in our like high school life because it all depends on where if you're from. This is my second year here in North High, and from where I used to live, I can see the really big difference simply because of the environment, how here it's more Hispanic, more it's a way different environment from where up in San Jose. Really affected me at school is that since I'm the oldest out of all my siblings, I have to be the responsible one in the family. Sometimes my parents need help or something, and I have to set aside school for a second to help them out with my siblings, help them out with getting my siblings ready, taking my siblings to school or whatever, or helping them simply with their homework. So yeah, so my parents work hard, so I have to help them out around the house. I have to clean up. I have to do whatever, just help them out when it means necessary. And sometimes that cuts some time from my school time to be doing schoolwork, to be studying or something. Here, I've seen a lot of my classmates and other students be more childish, childish, that's the easiest way to put it. But as the years gone by, I've noticed like school's about to end. They're focusing more on what they're realizing that their high school life is about to end, and they're about to enter the real life. They're about to become adults, and they matured more. We have so much to do with such little time. For example, I have to help out my siblings with all this, everything they have to do, and then after I can do my work. By the time I'm doing my work, it's already like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. It's difficult to get things done. And looking where I live, I've told myself I don't want to become. I've looked at how hard my mom and my dad have to work to just to support us, how to just give us a roof and some food. And I told myself I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like everyone else in this town, community, and the school itself. I noticed that more and more teachers and staff have helped prepare the students for the life after high school, have allowed them to achieve their goals, to find their goal.
Fendridge, and I've taught here since '92, so that's 25 years almost. Taught all kinds of subjects, but now I teach government and economics and American history. I don't know, I think it's a harder place to live than some places, so there's violence and kids get killed and people get killed, and I think that affects people who come to school. I think people know each other in this town, everybody's kind of close. There's a family networks and people who have been here for a long time, and I think that helps the kids who come to school. I think it's kind of a bleak place. I don't think there's a lot to do here, and I'm not sure how that affects kids, but I would say there's forces that make them successful and forces that put pressure on them and make life hard. Well, every year I see students grow up, get bigger physically, become more sure of themselves. learn to adapt to my classroom a little bit better. When they first come in, it's hard for them. By the end of the year, they understand what I expect or how it works. I want to say they learn to like me better. A lack of support to succeed academically. I think a lot of parents spend a lot of money on softball and spend a lot of time taking care of their kids, making sure they have the right clothes and phones, but I don't know if people push their kids hard enough to become successful. I don't know if there's the academic push behind every student. I know a lot of kids are really motivated, and a lot of them are because their parents want that of them and expect that of them, but I think a lot of kids don't get enough of that. I don't know. There's trade-offs to that too, you know. You can be over-pushed and be a hurried child, but I think more parents need to kick their kids a little bit harder. Every year somebody dies. Seems like every year some kid dies or gets shot at or something like that. I can't even imagine it. So I feel horrible about that. I've known 2 or 3 students who've died here and shot over the years. Yeah. It seems to be getting less violent. I don't know if I'm right about that, but it seems like it's less violent. And there used to be lots of fights. This isn't the same type of violence we're talking about, the gangs and murders, but there used to be a lot of fights on campus, like all the time. And I don't remember the last time I saw a fight on campus. So in that way, I think it's gotten better. Little stuff has gotten better, but I think the criminality is still there. Maybe just as bad as it was then. I think our school does a lot to help the students. All kinds of stuff. We push you into community college. We make sure you're signed up for AP classes. I think we do a lot of the stuff that I mentioned that parents don't do. I think the school is picking up the slack and kind of helping kids. AVID and all these other programs, Health Academy, there's so many things. I don't know if these programs are making school more fun. I don't know if the students like these programs, but from an adult's point of view, I think it seems like we're doing our part. I don't think you could look at North High and say, oh, they don't care about their students. I think there's a lot of pressure from the principal and others to be there for the kids. You know, like intercession. I mean, I'm just trying to think of all these credit recovery programs and all these field trips that we're taking kids on to colleges and stuff. I've never seen more of that than I have now. When I first came here and when I went to high school, it wasn't like that at all. It was a lot more hands-off. We just left you guys on your own.